One of the fears that I chronically struggled with, one of the fears that actually made me be agoraphobic is the fear of fainting. I actually feared fainting. I was afraid to go out. I couldn't stand conversation. I couldn't stand, for example, when you're in a bank or you are in somewhere that you have to make a line. I couldn't stand it. I just felt, I just felt like I'm gonna pass out. I think this is because also you feel like the constant dizziness, you feel like you can't breathe well, the constant lightheadedness can make you feel like, you know what, you're gonna faint. And let me tell you something, with anxiety, you can't faint. It is very rare to faint when struggling with anxiety, because for you to faint, your blood pressure has to be low. And people struggling with anxiety, their blood pressure is always spiking because of the constant adrenaline rush. So you can't faint with anxiety. There is a difference between actually fainting and feeling like you're gonna faint. And let me tell you something, even if you faint, what's the big deal? Like people necessitates people out there just faint and it's not a big deal. You just some first aid and you stand up and people go about their business. So what's the worst case scenario when you faint? That's the way I actually faced that fear. I said, even if I faint, I'm not gonna be the first person to faint. I'm not gonna be the last person to faint. People do faint and they stand up and continue with their life. So what's the worst? What's the worst that's gonna happen? And also, after learning, that's why learning is very important. Learning that for you to faint, your blood pressure has to be low. And people struggle with anxiety, most of the time their blood pressure is always spiking. So how can you faint? Literally, how can you faint? You always feel like you're gonna faint because of the constant dizziness, constant lightheadedness, constant, you feel like you can't take in, a deep breath, but literally you're not gonna faint. So if you're struggling with the fear of fainting, now you're not going out with your friends, you're not living, literally know that you're not going to faint. It's just a fear.